let's go. Okay, so we're going to go over the log4j vulnerability. We're going to exploit it. We're not going to follow this terms completely because we are actually going to go ahead and show you how to integrate it into C2 server. Typically, this whole process would be automated, so you can escalate to root or administrator or domain administrator. But anyways, yeah, let's go over high-level design. Okay, here's you, an attacker. Here's your terminal. Basically, we're going to use this to send requests to the web server. So in this case, it'll just be a curl command. We'll hit the Apache server. It will reach out to an LDAP server due to the GNDI class vulnerability. That class will tell basically Java, say, hey, reach out to this guy for your class. In this case, it's going to be a malicious class. Apache will pull it in, execute it, and it'll pop a reverse shell. There's a lot going on here. We'll take it high level and just drill in. Okay, so let's move over to Kali. Okay, so first off, let's build our LDAP server. MarshallSec has an LDAP server. You just build it with Java. Let's do Maven. Okay, well, it's kicked off. Let's build our malicious class. So if we kept this exploit, you can see we're just going to use a netcat listener. Okay, oh, looks like that was fast to build. Okay, cool. Anyways, let's go ahead and build this, Java C, and now we have a Java class. Okay, and then we're going to kick off a Python server. You can use any kind of web server. Most people use something hosted elsewhere because you need to be accessible from the internet. So we're just going to use Python. Okay, cool. Let's see if I've got this in my history. I do. So basically, we're just going to kick off this LDAP server, and then we're going to basically put a listener on here for the exploit class. Let's kick that off. Okay, now our curl command. Basically, the website looks something like this, 10.10.8.1. Here we go. So Solar, if you dig around the source code, you can see that there is admin, what was that called, cores, and then, yeah, here's your API endpoint. It accepts params, so we're just going to throw in foo, and what that'll look like is, actually, let's just close this. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's curl command. So when we kick this off, it'll reach out to LDAP. In turn, it'll have the web server reach out to our Python server that's hosting that class, kicking off the reverse shell. Speaking of which, we could probably start that netcat. Oh, I need bash, because we're going to upgrade our shell to a full TTY session. It's going to be cat LVMP 999. We're using 999 because that's the port we hard-coded that. Okay, cool. So let's kick this off. We gotta hit here. We gotta hit here. And now we're here. So who am I? Okay, so our shell looks like complete fucking shit. Anyways, let's go ahead and upgrade it. So we're gonna do, I believe this has Python 3. -c import pty spawn. Oh, good. Dash. Okay, cool. Now let's upgrade this. STTY raw echo. Bring you back. Now we have tab completion. Okay, so at this point, I would want to integrate it into the C2 server. So what that looks like is, okay, we've got the server up. This is PowerShell Empire, pretty well known. Let's go ahead and get the client set up. Okay, so we should have the listeners. We do, okay. So let's use a launcher. Damn it. Use stager launcher. Set it to PowerShell. Set language to Python. It's Linux, it's going to have Python, unless it's a container and all that's been stripped. But in this case, we know it has Python. Okay. Now we need to set our listener. HTTP. Okay, so let's just make sure this all looks good. It does. Okay, generate the payload, and we're going to throw this in memory because we're not going to write to disk. Okay, let's drop that. There we go. and we have an agent. Cool. So agents. Now notice we are a user, we are not escalated, so now we need to escalate privileges. Two ways of doing this: you can use automated tasks within PowerShell Empire, or we can manually dig. We're going to do both, because I always want something running in the background. We're going to use module. I would use linpeas, but I don't know if it's on here. Let's see, linpeas. Nope. What about use module lin? Let's use this one. Set agent here and execute it. So basically, this just pushes a task down to the server and starts the automation scripts. You will get caught if you go this route and there's antivirus running. So always enumerate before you do this, unless you're like, you don't care, you're just automating everything. Let's see, so interact, so we can get the output, and once that finishes, we'll see it. For me, I'm just going to start enumerating. So a huge one a lot of developers do is give us sudo privs, and as you can see, it's bad. Okay, sudo su, oops, and we are now root. Again, we're going to throw that same payload at it. Okay, let's go back to launcher. We got the same thing, so let's generate that. Okay, we'll go and kick this off. Selection, and it's gone, or it kicked off. Okay, so if we look at our agents, cool. So at this point, now that you got persistence, obviously you want short-term, long-term, and then your interactive C2 infrastructure. I'll create a video on that later. But anyways, now that you got persistence in here, well, we need to still install persistence, but now we got PowerShell Empire integrated. At this point, we would create persistence, exfiltrate data, and then I'd also start trying to climb the ladder. And what I mean by that is we pivot within the network, and if it was like Windows or an AD environment, we'd want domain admin so we can obtain that, and then hopefully, yeah, drop ransomware. Obviously, it's red team tactics, so you're not going to do that to the company, but anyways, that's the thing. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks. Bye.